Welcome into the room there, Don. Back on there.
Good morning, Jacob.
Morning, Don. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Very good, man. You hear me loud and clear?
Very good.
Excellent. You see, are you able to see my screen on here?
Yep.
All right. So as people kind of just join in, you don't know what the response will be like, but once they do, we're going to get started here, kind of right in a minute or so.
Okie dokie. All righty. Yeah, we do this once a week for my wife's business, so
Okay.
this is very familiar.
Excellent.
Well, I'm glad you're able to do this. This will be really nice.
Yeah. I think so. It'll be something to help out folks who have questions. It helps speed up dialogue. It helps share what thoughts there are out there. And then it kind of gives us a look back for those. Obviously, many people can't come in, but I think this is the best of circumstances
Yeah.
to have available.
As of right now, who knows? In a couple of days, it'll change again. So
Absolutely.
for what we're able to do.
Roger that.
Are you working or are you stuck at home all day long?
I'm actively working, man, at home. It's a
Good.
blended mix where I do have to report in, but still continue to work under circumstances. I'm a school teacher. I'm homeschooling my 7-year-old. He's in the 2nd grade, so that's been fun too.
Well, yeah, that makes it nice. That's one thing I've noticed because we live in an older neighborhood, and then we have a little area in front of our house. We live on a boulevard, so there's a little park area.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been nice to see all the families teaching the kids how to ride bikes and all sorts of things like that. So,
Right.
one good thing about it, that's been something that's been really good, is watching the parents interact with the children more.
Sure enough. And just with this technology too, man, if you're not employed, in which this is what your employer uses to stay connected and kind of give their people updates, it's something that ground zero to introduce to somebody. So doing this to a golfer, I guess, community, if they're not on board with it already, they might struggle in the beginning. I feel like archiving and recording these sessions will help influence participation and kind of want people to be on board with it and try to understand how they can connect and be a part of it.
Oh yeah, this is very good.
So on my screen, do you just see the PowerPoint?
Let me flip over to another one. I see me. I see me and you, and that's it.
Okay. All right, I see what's going on. All right. All right, so now you should see a PowerPoint, correct?
Nope.
Nope, still no. All right, let me do this again. Hello, Rick. Welcome to the room, buddy. How about now? Or how about now, Don? Do you see that PowerPoint again?
Nope.
No? Get off of it. All right, let's get back into this. Seems like once you change platforms, stop share, screen share, it kind of jumps around on you.
Yeah.
Let's do this. All right, how about now?
There, got it.
All right, excellent. All right, so this is kind of how things are set up, how things are going to go. This is something that, as folks join the room, hopefully this has kind of been, if we stay on pace, right, we would all be here kind of looking at this and kind of getting the information from the start. So As people do come in, they'll be muted upon entry. This session is recorded, so be mindful of that. And then it'll be made available to share later to all those who I'm in contact with. Go ahead and use the chat function. If there's more participants in the room, that I will be pretty much moderating this session. So there's not entirely that much time where we kind of do some Q&A back and forth. So use the chat function. I'll be monitoring some of the questions and the conversations you guys are having. And it also allows for you to privately, reach out to the participants that are also joining us. The session is scheduled for 40 minutes. If I feel like this first one might go past that. So if you want to take a break, you want to come back, if we haven't gotten through all the topics, what you just do is just join back into the same login steps, and then we'll resume until we actually get to the end. So when speaking, try to be mindful that you're in a quiet area to avoid some of that background noise. So we're going to go to the next one here. This is more so introduction, welcome. So Golf Channel Amateur Tour, this is our first version of what's called Tour Talk. First episode presented by Zoom. And this is kind of just that formal intro as to welcoming everyone out there. So the audience that we have that's invited is not just those who are on the Golf Channel Amateur Tour from Columbus, but anyone who's out there that I've reached out to in Cincinnati, Detroit, Cleveland area, and any golfer, really. It's really gone to, if you pass this invite on to any of your golfer buddies, this is open to the public. So, but the target audience here, again, is those Golf Channel members. I first want to kind of speak to, where we are, how we got here, and where are we headed. So as you all know, earlier this year, on the 1st of January, the tour schedule was published, because at that time, all registration was open. We were aiming for our first event to be held at Zanesville Country Club. Well, novel COVID-19, earlier part of March, we started to see a phase shutdown of the community and states. So with that, what followed on March 16th is NBC Universal suspended all local and regional events through April 30th until further notice. It followed with members who were registered for tournaments in that time frame. We're going to be issued full refund in those coming weeks. And at the time, with uncertainty, all Golf Channel memberships were extended by 2 months. Next, we had, I sent out kind of an update, once we got that message right around the middle of April, kind of sent you guys an update where we were, sent you guys a survey, so that way, if you were going to play, what events would you play? What circumstances would you play under? How comfortable do you feel? Social distancing measures. Would you walk? Those things were questions that I asked of you just to kind of get a feel and get a pulse of what you guys' thoughts were. Well, not much longer after that, the official announcement came where NBC Universal, Golf Channel, Division of Amateur Events, announced that they were suspending all local and regional events through the 2020 golf season. This included the national and senior national championships. At this time, it has been made that all memberships and refunds will be processed sometime beginning around the 1st of May. Details about those memberships and when the refund schedule processing will occur, they haven't laid out that schedule yet, but something should start to get going here again about the 1st of May. So on the next day, I kind of sent out, hey, everyone, this is kind of where what's happening. Please stand by. If you feel like you're going to, jump ship, pivot, and pick up a hobby of basket weaving, I told you to just pump the brakes a little bit. Let me engage with those courses and figure a way forward. And just a couple of days ago, I announced to everyone, the 210 members, active and inactive both, via email, that I'm calling it something. I mean, the more you talk about it, people kept asking, well, what is it? I just dubbed it as GCAT to CCAT. And you'll kind of learn what that means. It's Golf Channel Amateur Tour to the Capital City Amateur Tour. It's not official, it's not LLC, it's not trademark. It's just something I came up with since we already had the Capital City standings. It's just called the Amateur Tour. So we're going to be moving forward. The local schedule, all courses I've engaged with, except for Westbrook, and this is where we're going to go. So again, Golf Channel, first things first. Events that are going to continue to be held are not going to be sanctioned by Golf Channel. So licensing rights to the name, term, Golf Channel, Peacock, etc., cannot be utilized from my position. So I bring you the Capital City Amateur Tour, and had somewhat of a little sound effects here to play that. So it was kind of like, you know, a golfer's cup. So we're going to go with the Capital City Amateur Golf Tour. Maybe one more sound effect later. Capital City Amateur Tour. People kind of talk to amongst your friends, kind of get their buy-in to it. That's kind of what you could refer to it as for now. So this is what we're going to go over. Here are the topics I've laid out. We're going to cover some of the season outlook, cover some of the event schedule, maybe a possible realignment at the end of the year, speak to the Capital City Season Championship, and some of the features and highlights of these changes, which include tee assignments that would remain for seniors if they're combined to an open flight. Preview what a tour database is. I feel like there's an appetite out there for the information. As you as a golfer, you like to have your stats, you like to compare with your peers, you like to see your name on leaderboards, archive stuff. So most of you have seen this. It's kind of improved a little bit in just in 2 days, and we'll kind of jump through some of the user functions to that. We'll look at our first event, Monday, May 18th. We'll look at our second event that follows. So the focus and approach right now is just to concentrate on these tournaments in May. Many courses out there can't promise anything outside of the next 30 days. And they're not saying you can't come or we're going to, cancel any event past it. So that's why the approach and talk will mostly be about these two events. But again, it will align to the rest of the year. We'll talk about the Ohio Ryder Cup, some social distancing, the Capital City Amateur Tour membership. What does it cost to play on this tour? What trophy and prizes will be made available? What can you win? Highlight some of that. It's a great alternative to how we're going to award our winners. Scoring, questions come up. How's scoring going to work? With Golf Channel being removed, so did the tournament management software. How to score. Basically, you can go out to a website and pay your entries. You can see who is in the field. You can see what optional games are. You can see a lot of things. And I think, again, you as a player, you have these needs, and we're still going to model the same. Golf is still going to be played, and this structure is what's needed to have that. So last but not least, handicaps. How are they going to be managed? Handicaps, just like before, modeling the same with the tour handbook. We still have, I'll show you what the flight structure looks like. Revisions will occur. Yes, it's a lot of manual lead work on the front end, but still enough. You're going to be investing into playing these events under this tour umbrella with the structure, knowing that it's solid. So, and then lastly, I'm in, and when you kind of get through all this, I want to play. How do I get into it? So let's go right into the outlook. So right now, and a kind of quick overview, we have two events in the month of May, June, July, and August. If you are kind of like, what days are they being held on? A summary of that: 4 Saturdays, 2 Sundays, 2 Mondays, and a Sunday Monday, which is our 2-day tour championship at the moment. So Westbrook Country Club, as I mentioned, previously held on May 9th, is canceled. They are in a county where right now they abide by and will with the health department that's in that county, and they're not permitted to have guests on their property. So we're going to abide by that, but they kept hope that we could perhaps reschedule this event later into the year. So the realignment of schedule in August, September, October, what does that mean? So, right now the schedule was designed and created based on the constraints of the Golf Channel Amateur Tour, which meant that there were no events in September. Well, with that removed, we can now look at having an event in September, a premier month for having golf. So when I say that it's subject to change, that's something I will pursue to see what courses that are out there. And to see if they could secure us a spot for an event to be held. And it might bump what the Tour Championship is today to just simply a 2-day event with another event being our Tour Championship in September. So that brings us to the season beginning with our first event. It's now at Monday, May 18th at the Country Club of Muirfield Village. I want to hit this point out. This is not where the PGA Tour hosts the Memorial Tournament. So that's the golf club. So this is at the Country Club of Muirfield Village. Still a premier course designed by Jack Nicklaus, private to those who are not members. And I think it's a good landing spot for our tour, and it's going to be nice to be the one to kick our season off. Our second event, the 23rd at Shaker Run, which will be the first of leg 3 in our Ryder Cup series. And this will be a combined event competing with those members who were formerly on the Cincinnati Golf Championship Tour. So if you see myself up here in Columbus, kind of pursuing this alternative, Matt Johnson, who was at the helm in Cincinnati, he too will continue, and we'll align and put that stuff together. Some of the things as far as event setups, the championship flight is renamed to Woods Flight. So you'll see an open Woods flight and a senior Woods flight. And then previously, if you're a senior who, like in Hogan's in years past, or even Palmer's, where we had a low number of participants on the entry side of it, and those two flights were merged together, where I think some of you would say the seniors have to play with the fat bellies. Well, the kind of thorn in that was you had to play from further tees or something to that nature. Well, it's still the same handicap, but this way, under what we're going to do is you're going to stay in the same tee box. So let's say senior Saracen was white tees and open Saracen was blue tees. If those two flights had to merge together, that senior player would be joined in the field of all Saracen players. But if you were a senior affiliated Saracen flight member, you would still play from the whites in that event. And then the open would still play from the blues. So I think that's kind of a very good win as far as making it a good balance and a draw to the events for our senior members. So we'll still have the Capital City season flight champion. So it's a point-based system. Obviously, the more events you play, the more points you can win, and that can put you in a good spot and position to win the overall flight for the year. We'll also have a low net stroke play head-to-head tournament, and you'll kind of see that as we go through into this next segment here. This is the tour database. So if you guys were not yet familiar with the tour database, this is what I created. It's an Excel product. It was sent out to the tour on the 23rd. This is the home page here. It's dashboard. You can kind of see there's some segments here where you got some general areas, you got the event information, and you got the Players Club. So there's something that we'll probably spend the most time here on this session, kind of browsing through this, because as much of information players are reaching out to me, asking me how to do, what to do, it's all right here. This is what Golf Genius was to you on the Golf Championship Tour. I've created this right here that will satisfy the appetite of information you desire. So let's take a look at some of this. So this is the actual database. Most of you got a version of it earlier this week. Anytime I do send it out for updates or push it to you, it will always carry its currency. So right now, this version is current as of this morning. So over here, you got some general questions, some general information, what this tour is about. It's all hyperlinked, so it's very user-friendly. If you know how to click a mouse and navigate the website, this functions the same way. Got some frequently asked questions, just a little bit here. It shows you flight makeup, who can join, what membership costs are. So similar, the same information you saw browsing, again, the Golf Championship Tour webpage. So you jump out of here. One unique thing I tossed in here was the survey. So earlier in the month of April, I sent out 2 surveys, both on the 11th of April. Again, that was kind of like, hey, how do you guys feel about playing under these conditions? What's your thoughts of, COVID-19, and how comfortable would you play? Put all your responses here, as promised. Based on anonymity, you don't know who these comments are from, just do them out here for you to read, kind of understand where people are and what the general consensus is like. April 17th, I asked what courses, events would you attend? And they're kind of on an XY axis. Some of you gave me a narrative. Some of you gave me some quick little responses. Others did say I would play these events or I wouldn't play the others. So I kind of aligned that response so that way you can see all the same information. So a pretty good response and survey. I had 55 members participate in that, and that was just a week ago. So that's out there for you to browse. We got some social distancing measures that, if you're playing golf, I've heard, I've seen what things courses are doing. So that's kind of some of the things that you'll see when you play in these events. And then this is pretty neat, a season calendar. So it's a legend and outlook. If you need a screenshot for guys who have their planner, calendar at home, and you're trying to schedule your golf, you're trying to schedule your birthdays, weddings, trips, tours, when you get back to work, what's out here? So kind kind of see a little legend out here. Yellow is the events we're having. Some red are some days I try to avoid on scheduling tournaments to avoid conflicts, like 4th of July, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Labor Days, anything that could come up that would, perhaps be a factor as far as how our tournament size shapes up. And then black here, these are all the Zoom sessions. I kind of previewed how many of these I'll do. It's very difficult right now. We don't get to casually just go out and play golf, and the communication platform I was used to having is not there. So I think that this will be a medium in which, every week on Wednesday at 7 o'clock, do some touch points, something like this, like a tour talk, kind of speak to the tour, what is happening, some Q&As, open it up to where this setup like today is not more directed, but it can kind of go back and forth. But then also I felt this is neat, okay? So our first event is on the 18th. What I'm doing is on the 18th on tournament day, you're not likely to see anybody before you tee off. You're not likely to see a pro, myself, because of the social distancing. So how can you augment that, need when you're trying to have a structured tournament, to provide information to players, where to go, how are they to conduct themselves when they arrive to a course. So what I'm gonna do is on the 17th, the day before every event at 7 o'clock, we're gonna have a pairings party release, where it will be at that time. My goal is to have the pairings produced, shown here, shared here, and sent to you. We're gonna go over the rules that's set up, provided by the course. Some of the things that I will introduce as far as what bunker play looks like, if the range is open, how early you can show up, what's going to be at your first tee box. So those rule sheets will be there. So that kind of be like a pairings party release. This is what you're playing for. This is kind of the points you earn. This is the field size. This is what you're competing against. This is what you can download. This is how scoring is going to work. All that will be provided to you kind of in this version here at 7 p.m. the day before every event. Then after the tournament, shown here on the 19th, 7 o'clock seems to be the magic hour, is we'll do an award and trophy ceremony. So when you're done with your tournament, you're not going to see anybody when you're finished. You're not going to high five anybody. There's not going to be any socializing. There's going to be no loitering. You play golf. When you're done, you pack up and go home. So then now it's like, okay, then what? Well, this version right here, man, we'll get a trophy or something and kind of virtually go over, clap, give a golfer's clap, announce who those winners are, be here for that. And we can have an interview, ask the player, how their round went, how they finished, what those things are. And I think that could be really neat and fun. So again, 7 o'clock the night before, 7 o'clock the day after, we'll have some of these, and we'll see how it goes. It might be something, if we bridge ourselves to the future, it could be something we do every event where we can just knock this out before and after. All right, so let's jump back out to the dashboard. So we go over, this is kind of where the bread and butter is, scheduling events. So much like, keep referencing it, the Golf Channel Amateur, you had Golf Genius, right? You looked at local schedule, you looked at tournament pages, you clicked on this event, and voila, here goes the tournament page. It tells you what this is, when we're having it, what the overview is, registration is currently open, when it closes, what the format is, what the tees will be. And highlighted here, this kind of turns out to be a little bit of a sticking point for many of you. How are you to pay? How people have been responding to me like, I want to play in a tournament. Well, like before, you gotta pay. Okay, how do you pay? Initially introduced was Zelle, was that primary means of pay, but now I've offered up Google Pay as an alternative. So Zelle is primarily a checking account established, and it all requires on your banking institution if they're compatible with using that pay app service. So Google Pay is a card. So you can load a card to Google Pay. Again, you just go to your store, just download Google Pay, and then it doesn't really require much steps, but it's going to have you add a card to it, and then you select a name, email, or phone number to send the money to. Well, there's my phone number. So basically, you just download the apps, use the phone number, send me the money, and when you do that, I'm asking you to include your name, the tournament you're paying for, and whether you prefer to walk or ride. If you don't say you want to ride, by default, that's the answer. But up front, if you are willing to walk, it really helps out with how the tournament's going to be set up with single carts. And, you know, it's not a field max. It's just for our first event, the course only has 60 carts. Okay, so if you're kind of sitting back, like most of you, there's 55 of you that surveyed. I think there's 50 of you who said that would play this event. And down here, there's 24 who've already signed up. There's a lot of people out there that still haven't. So you think that, you know, I got a whole month before this event. Well, if you prefer to ride in a cart, there's only 60 of them. We can have 100 players play this event. It'd be 60 riding, 40 walking. So if you're that guy that wants to ride and you want to play in this event, I suggest you kind of, you know, follow these steps, download these apps, and get some money going. All right. So you again continue with the same. You got some contact information here, how we're going to start, flight policy. Again, same information before. This is again something that you already have. I sent out an email, and I'll send this again later today with these updates. Cancellation policy. Okay, this is neat. It's always been one. Well, these pay app services, there's 0 transaction fees. So if you're a guy that says, I don't know, I'm waiting because I haven't got paid, or if I do get paid, if I got the money now, I'm gonna wait and see. Well, there's no penalty to you if you join today or sign up today. There's no penalty as long as you cancel before the registration closes. And that key term is that's when the course needs hard number. So if they need hard number, that's what they expect. I'm sorry, there's not going to be a refund after that. So there's 0% transaction fee. So it's cash in, cash out, me to you, back to you. If you say, hey, I can't do it, as long as it's before May 15th. So that's a neat thing. Well, there are some optional side games. How to do that? It's a different app. Okay, so this is the sticky part. Zelle or Google Pay is for the entry. Venmo is for the side games. It's important I say that because I got to keep these pots separate. So if we're trying to have a handicapped event based on amateur status, I cannot combine cash games with your tournament entry because that violates your amateur status, which means you're playing for cash. So please understand the logistics on the setup of these two paper options, and please, you know, do that and be mindful of that as you go from event to event. So right now, what this looks like, again, we have 24 registered members. Again, we only have 60 carts, and everyone else will be walking if you kind of join as we get closer to event day. So we're only at the first event page. So over here, these same buttons work. If you want to hop back, browse around, and quickly navigate through some of these things, you know, you can do so once the event is over. I just flash over to the event page or results page here. You go to the results. Once the scores are populated in here, this is kind of what you're going to see at the 7 o'clock day after during the award and trophy ceremony. You'll see all the scores in here, round totals, what the finish was, what they did on front total, back total, and then their hole by hole score, which will illustrate and highlight their skins or bogeys or whatever have you, or whatever you look at. And then quickly, their name will be tossed over here to the standings that tracks their performance and points earned through the whole season, and season total, and what their place is throughout the course of the year. If you're interested in how you earn points, you just jump right here, and this is how the points are earned for every event. So it's pretty much laid out all right here. All the information that you need to know is all right here. Go back to the dashboard. It tells you what the Ryder Cup is about. I really like this. So we're going to get back into that. I'll stay right here, so I'll go back into that later. But you know, once we were in that dashboard, we'll go back up here. Here we go. I just want to help out and, you know, return to our agenda. We've got a players club over here. So you got the player directory. These are all the players. Once we flip the switch over, who were active or inactive as far as our tour, there was 256 of you. Course statistics will be tossed in here. So once the finishing results are done, I'll also update this as well. And then you got some past champions. You know, there's a player out there that really, myself included, really likes to see this stuff. And if you're kind of curious what the capital city standings is all about, how it's awarded, you can kind of see some archive of that. Last year, we awarded over $10,000 in value, trophy value, and prize fund. And, you know, some of these flights had a great size. You know, we were awarded $325 plus trophy to our 2019 Palmer champion, Tony Burbridge. our 585 for Hogan champion. So you kind of see there's something to be had out there. Yes, we had 11 events last year. This year we have only 8, so you kind of might see a smaller drop-off, a small drop-off in that. But nonetheless, that's how it's structured. That's how you can reference it. I got the past 4 years in here. You can go through all of them. Again, it's out here, man. It's pretty cool. This will put you in your seat and kind of be blown away because, yes, we're going to resume, but it's easier said than done. When you say, I just want to keep going, you got to have structure to this. And it has to look good. It has to feel good. I mean, you're putting money into something. You want it to be legit. You want it to be sound. You want it to be tracked. You want it to be from a position knowing that the integrity, the ethic as to what this tour has been, with the values of the Golf Channel Tour will continue, so that way you still enjoy the experience of the camaraderie and competition that's out there. All right. So we will press forward, keep going here. Go to the next one here. So the next topic is the Country Club of Muirfield Village. So again, this is not where the PGA Tour hosts a memorial tournament. All right. Registration is now open. As you've seen in the database, there's 24 people already signed up. Registration will close 4 days before the event. The course has 60 carts. I mentioned this. It's first come, first served basis for the first 60. Others may still sign up, but you'll be required to walk. The entry is 150 straight tees. Again, this is on the splash page, that tournament page I showed you there. But note, there are no spectators or caddies permitted at this time. This is going to be strictly enforced by that club and their members. Many of the members who live on the property, some of their homes back up to some of the holes, they'll be watching. They know that they have some outside play, and they have to abide and adhere to those rules. So we have to do the same. So please don't straddle this line. Single carts, no 2 bags in a cart. It's 1 bag a cart, 1 player a cart, 1 person in a cart. So they do not want to be cited, nor do we want to have that brought onto them for violating social distancing provided by the county. So on to the next event in May, the second event on our schedule. This will be, again, the first leg of the Ryder Cup series. Join there with Cincinnati and Louisville Tour. We are the defending champions of the Ryder Cup. We won that in 2019. The registration for this event will open very soon. Matt Johnson will be, I reached out to him yesterday to see how he was doing with it. His payment options will differ than mine. Okay, so he's hosting it, so it's going to compel you to sign up through him. So that's very important if you're going to be playing in this event, which will be on Saturday, May 23rd, is that don't send me money for this event. It's going to be through Matt Johnson. And again, once that information is available, it'll be shared. It's still determined to when that format will be, but I can tell you right now, if you're familiar with Shaker Run, they have 3 nines. The open flight will play Lakeside to Woodlands, and the senior flight will play Meadows to Lakeside. So last year, if you're kind of curious, one stat here is in 2019, this event itself, when we combined ourselves with Cincinnati, it had 131 and 119 members, respectively. So expect large fields, big prize payouts, and some great fun. So the Ryder Cup, what is that? I'm talking to it. So what it is it's 3-leg series where the first one will be played at Shaker Run. The next one on the schedule will be at Pinnacle Golf Club, where we will host, meaning Columbus, and we will invite Cincinnati up to us. And from those 2 events, as it was the inaugural in 19, the host site will be determined based on the number of flight winners from those 2 events. So let's say Shaker Run has, Columbus wins 5 flights at Shaker Run, and we lead by winning 4 flights in leg 2. Hey fellas, you guys still with me here? Did my screen flash away from you guys? Someone chime in here. You guys still reading me?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You're fine.
Okay. Are you able to see the PowerPoint still?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what I just received an alert. We're 10 minutes from being cut off. So as I introduced in the beginning, if we do it's just going to disappear on you, just log back in and I'll wait for you guys to return to continue, okay? All right. So moving forward. Again, so this is the 3-leg series. If we have the most fight winners from the first 2 events, we will host. And I've already have an arrangement with Pinnacle Golf Club to host us on Saturday, October 10th. If we are not the host site, that event on October 10th will still occur, but then Cincinnati will host an event on a day which it does not conflict to that previously arranged date. Okay. All right, some social distancing. Check this out. So social distancing is in effect. You kind of seen some of that examples on the dashboard where if you've been playing golf already, or if you've been kind of reading some reports out there, some press releases of how this is implemented. You got some pool noodles, you got some cups upside down, you got pool noodles in a cup, you got flag sticks remaining all times, you got rakes removed from bunkers, you got single riders and carts, you got, again, cash, no, it's cashless, you got to pay in advance. Those things will be implemented, they will be detailed out, probably varies a little from course by course. And I think that this will be the one difference. I spoke to the club owners, management for the country club in Muirfield Village, and they have purchased a ball retriever, a touchless ball retriever, the superintendent did, and they have hopes that this will be available for our event. So I thought this was really neat. The concern I had is that, as I'm hearing, is that during a round of golf, one person within the group will hole out, but the ball will pop out. And that's man, you don't want that to happen. And it's kind of like, well, what are we going to do about it? Well, hopefully this is the difference maker. You can see here that the ball will be allowed to fall directly down into the hole, and you lift it without touching the flag. You're just kind of having contact with the putter and that little lever to pull the ball out the hole. So this is pretty neat. I won't say this is at every golf course, but this is what they're doing at the country club in Muirfield Village. If this is not available at every course, we're certainly going to have some rules to offset, and it's going to be something that's going to be very favorable. So that way you're not incurring a ball popping out when you actually got hold. So I can't tell you at the moment, thanks to Garrett Miner out on tour. Many of you know him as a player. He's in our Palmer flight. I'm going to give a shout out that we're going to receive hopefully a donation of personal size bottles of hand sanitizer that will be provided and made available at our first event. It'll be one available per player. So if you don't know, he is the heir to the Jack's Wax car cleaning supply out there located near the airport. And their business has been contacted and reached out to for filling sanitizer for the state health departments. So again, bottling services companies have been converted in this period of time through COVID to kind of facilitate and help out, PPE. Well, this is one of those things, and I think this is an extension of him being a member of our tour and graciously to donate the supply to us. So next, membership. All right, so how much does it cost? Man, I can't tell you. More how excited it is to say is free. So gotta get another applause that one. Yep. That's how you feel out there, and it's like jackpot city. So it's more sound effects for you. But it's free. The cost is nothing. I think that many members who are interested in the Golf Channel Tour kind of once it in, once it out, we're kind of, how am I paying that much? Regardless if it's a tour out there that is your choice for tournament golf. This tour, it's $0. So there is no risk to you. You're not losing anything. And in fact, if you're a Golf Channel member that's switching into this, you're going to get your membership refunded from Golf Channel. So there's no cost to you. There's no loss. There's no risk. So this is the best deal. You can't beat it anywhere if you're seeking a choice for tournament golf. The only requirement is for new members is to provide a verifiable handicap. The entry still will remain a first come, first served basis. So if there was ever and any time that this was a great time for you as a current member as to what this is, to reach out to your buddies and promote, it's right now. The schedule is still there. It's still private, it's still exclusive, but you're not going to get on unless you are a member of this tour at a cost of $0. So it's just contacting. So this is kind of a step to just encourage that flight size, that field size that we all desire. Because you're not going to really see each other as much, but you're still going to have the competition amongst each other. You're going to see this grow. And this is a no-cost, nothing-to-lose opportunity to play in some of the most organized, structured tournament format with access to the best private courses in Central Ohio. And I can tell you what, it's wildfire. I mean, registration has been open for 1 day, and there's 25 people that signed up for the first event. So this is going to go pretty fast, and I expect it. You know, you got members of Cincinnati, Detroit, Pittsburgh, and right now, word of mouth, that this information's out there since Thursday. So that's about 500 people that's being contacted. Whether they can pick it up, whether they're responsive enough, you think by percentage, half of them will be engaged. So we're talking about a good 250 people that's going to be engaged in this. So if you're out there kind of waiting and seeing, I suggest you kind of reconsider what action you can take today. And if you change your mind later, there's no cancellation fee. There's just no zero in, zero out. As long as you comply by before registration date, there's no risk. All right, so why not do this? All right, so trophy and prize. This is a great spin to what we were used to. So what can I win on this tour? What can I win if I compete and I do come out on top? Well, going forward, that choice is yours. So due to social distancing, think about it. We can't award a trophy at the conclusion of a tournament. So I thought about it further, and that came up from one of our members, Rick Gordon, tossed this idea to me. If you're a guy that's out there that wants to play for trophy, okay, cool. If you're a guy that's out there that wants to get prize fund, okay, this is kind of what you can see. It'll be presented to you. So, 7 o'clock the day after a tournament, when we announce that flight winner, all right, winner, if it's you out there I'm talking to, you have a choice. This is some of the examples as to what the trophies are out there and what that trophy expense is budgeted for. Every entry, there's a portion out of it that is generated towards this. So the, template of it was a trophy and a Visa gift card was provided at every tournament under the Golf Channel pretenses. Going forward, you get the option. You want a trophy, Visa gift card, or do you want a Visa gift card with that trophy expense just added to it? Choice is yours. I think this is great. So I can't award you a trophy. So why would I pre-purchase a trophy to get here for the day of the tournament when I can't give it to you? So I think this is great that this will be a choice to our players. And it kind of gives that person another reason why, if you're not the membership guy, that I'm not playing because the membership's too much, or I don't want to play for a trophy. Well, wow, now you're on this tour, and the guys who are currently on it may have never seen or heard from you before. But you're going to be playing with us. I'm going to vet you out with the handicap, properly flight you. You're going to compete just like everyone else. And the guys on the tour previously will like that, and that's how I'm going to do the business. So I really like this idea. So I think it's going to be a really great sell, and it might be change probably constant going forward. Scoring. All right, so we're T-minus 1 minute, and this is the point where I'm going to cautiously kind of take a pause here. And so when we transition to the other side of a new session, I want to kind of just take a moment here very quickly to those on the line. What you guys got to say about this so far?
I think it looks good.
Thank you.
I think you've done a great job, Jason.
Yeah.
All right, Rick, I appreciate it. All right. And so we're less than a minute, and I'll just keep it right here because, again, we'll come back. Again, I'll wait for you guys all to jump on this session. So here, less than a few seconds, it's just going to switch. So I'll open up a new session and then just enter in the session ID and password, and we'll just keep going.
Okay. I'll be right back.